Hey y'all. It has been a while since I have posted on this channel. I've been posting shorts, but I have not been posting full videos, and there's been a reason for that. It is that I have been at school all the time. And when I first started this channel, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna film at school, I'm gonna film blah, 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 blah. But when I'm at school, I realized just how boring university is, even as an art student. Like I was like, oh, well, if I'm an art student, like there's obviously gonna be people that want to know about how it is at a public college, because private colleges are a whole different story for art students. I'm an art student at a public college, so you'd think like, hey, you'd want to see that, right? Just so that it's like less niche group of people, But no, I didn't film anything at school or this semester. But there's like genuine, I don't think you guys are missing out on anything. It was so boring. But yeah, so this video, I wanted to talk about my journey with art as like a person that went through a long period of absolutely despising all things art. And I feel like that's something important to talk about because there's so many people on this platform that just like talk about the successes of art, the successes of being an artist in this sphere where you need to be posting all the time your art. I want to talk about that because I went through a period of time where I didn't draw for like 2 years. I think there's a lot to talk about with this topic. I was thinking while I work on this long queue of commissions that I have to get done, I thought this would be a perfect moment to just talk about my relationship with art. Like we're not getting serious here. We're just talking about art. We're talking about how it feels to be an artist, the struggles of art, the ugly side of art. But I want to talk about my personal relationship with art because it's honestly been something. All right, it's been something, and I've only really cracked the code, at least my own personal code, this like past year. So let's get into it, all right?
In the beginning, I just want to start with how we kind of all start, which is either in childhood or when you find this like sense of wonder with art. I'm definitely one of those people that say like, oh, I've been drawing since I was little, like I've been drawing since I could pick up a pencil. I have always been an artist. That's just been a consistent in my life. My first memory with art has always been this little notebook that I had that I would just doodle in, and obviously looking back now, the art was an atrocity and probably shouldn't be shown to the world. But like we all start in that area where it's really bad art, but we just like to make art because it's something that is fun and we're creative because we're young. And frankly, I've been a person that has always said that art is something I want to pursue as a career. When I was younger, like it was that idea of being like a Parisian artist. Parisian, is that how you say it? An artist living in Paris. And honestly, my first experience with backlash on being an artist was that age where people would laugh it off and be like, oh, haha, like, yeah, being an artist. But then they'd say like, oh, like starving artists, like, how are you gonna make money to live? And that always stuck with me because I genuinely was like, I'm gonna be an artist. Like I was so serious about that, and a lot of people were just like, no, you're not. Like that's simply not going to happen. Looking back, I don't really think it was that serious. Like I truly think that they were just saying that as it's always been kind of that idea that people that are artists will end up in a box on the side of the street. But I did take it a little bit, and I did think about how people didn't actually believe that I could be an artist, but nevertheless, we move on to the years of more like elementary school / middle school, where making art was still fun, but it had become something that was ingrained in my, I guess, being. Like that was who I was rather than it was something that I wanted to do. By that I mean I wasn't making art for enjoyment. I was making art because I had always been the art person. So it was not because I was having fun doing it. I still was kind of having fun making art, but there was kind of an expectation that I would be good at art. And so I wanted to retain that expectation by making good art. And truthfully, that art that I was making was not that good. Like skill-wise, not great. But I also had made this name for myself in school and like also with my family that I was the kid that made art. So every person that I know that to make art when they were younger, I feel like kind of has that story where they're like, oh yeah, Like for Christmas every year, I'd get one of those little art sets. That was me. I was always getting the little art sets. I was always making really bad art and really bad OCs. But it was like the bad art and OCs that I still thought was good art was what was driving my interest in making art. And this continued for most, I would say, of middle school, and I was still considering myself an art kid. And then I switched over to making digital art. Digital art was this entrance that I guess revolutionized how I viewed making art and being an artist itself. And I was so bad. I look back at that art and I'm just like, dang, this was so bad. I had one of the Wacom teeny tiny mini ones. That was my first one. It was like $60 and I bought it with my own money. And I was dedicated to the cause. I was on Krita, Fire Alpaca. I was making art, y'all. But towards the end of middle school, those feelings of I am really honestly not that good of art started creeping in because I was watching more YouTube, I was on social media more often, and I was seeing how other people made art. And at the time, I really liked anime styles or, I don't know, like anime cartoony art. And there were so many good artists on like Instagram and YouTube that were just so much better than me. And because of that, my will to make art started to decline very, very heavily. It's also worth noting that I was one of those people that never finished a sketchbook, like ever. I'd buy a new one, never finish it, buy another one, never finish it. I'd rip out pages, I'd draw a circle with a line through it and then skip to the next page. Like I was so bad at doing sketchbooks. If I'm being honest, that still is true today. Like I honestly have not gotten better at sketchbooks. But continuing on, so I'm having this period of time where making art is becoming a little bit more difficult, but it really starts when I enter high school. That is when everything goes so downhill. I start taking some art classes in freshman year, and I'm still relatively making art every day and enjoying making art. But that bit of insecurity when it comes to what I create had been there since middle school, and it still retained itself in high school. And honestly, it probably got worse because when you enter high school, you're meeting way more people. And in these art classes, you're meeting people that are probably going to be better than you. And in my case, the artist that I had as a teacher was really good at art, and it was nice seeing a good artist teaching me to make art, but at the same time it was kind of like, oh dang, like I am so bad at this. And I still wanted to make art. Like it wasn't that I disliked making art anymore, it was just the fact that I couldn't make the art that I was envisioning in my head. Because of my age, like the expectation of myself for art had way outgrown my actual abilities. So I would go maybe weeks upon weeks with just not making any personal art or any art at all, really. And this was the first time in my life that I found myself getting bad grades in art classes. Not because of the art that I was making, but rather because I wasn't finishing the art. I was struggling so hard to start, finish, and follow through with the pieces that I was trying to make. And then, lo and behold, sophomore year decides to peek its head around the corner, and I stopped making art entirely. I just outright did not make art unless it was for classes, and even at that, I wasn't really making art for the classes either. Like, I was just kind of failing. Like, it was so bad that I would still say that I was an artist, but I wasn't actually making art or improving at art. And to put in perspective how that feels, it's like one of the biggest rock bottom moments that you can have as an artist is just like not making anything. You're not making anything, so you're not improving. So when you try to make something, it's bad, obviously, because you haven't done it in a while. You're not learning anything. And I would say that my art teacher was very supportive. Like, he definitely wanted me to make art. He definitely saw potential in me. But I didn't see that same potential, so I just never followed through and I never made anything. And because sophomore year for me was also COVID, we get slammed with this pandemic, and I'm kind of put in the position where I have so much time on my hands to make art, but I'm not utilizing the time at all. Like, really, I wasn't utilizing it. Now, I would say that in junior year / COVID, I had a really bad mental state. So honestly, I don't think that was really all art's fault. I think it was like relatively everything was not doing too good. And so there was no room for me to really self-reflect and figure out what was up with my art. And during this period, we also had online art classes. And in these online art classes, I tried so hard to do well that I ended up failing like anyways. Because when you haven't made art for like a year and a half or haven't really made any finalized pieces in so long, giving yourself such a high expectation of making a perfect project, something so cool that it's gonna blow everybody away, generally is probably not a good idea. And that's what I did. I said, okay, I'm gonna make this super cool piece that is super ambitious and I'm gonna do so good on this. And I wouldn't follow through. And I just ended up feeling like I couldn't make art at all. And the cherry on top to this entire scenario is the fact that in junior year / senior year, you're gonna be thinking about your career path, your future, what you wanna do in life. And because of that, I was trying to face what I was going to do in my career, but with the fact that I didn't want to make art, I couldn't really say that art was going to be 100% the choice for me. But there also wasn't anything else. So I would say, yeah, I'm going to be an artist, but at the same time, I wasn't making art to back up this idea that I wanted to be an artist. I really don't think anybody but me realized that I wasn't making art, but I knew very, very, very well that I was not making the art that was to my expectation or really to the level that I could say that this was going to be something in my future. So COVID comes and goes, and I really had started kind of making art. It still wasn't great, I don't think. In my personal opinion, I do not think that this was amazing art. But looking back, it's good that I started getting back into the role of making art. Because in senior year, I had another art class that I honestly, again, failed at doing. But there was periods of time where I would find something that I enjoyed making and I would just stick to that, and that was the only thing I would make. But also the art creation task was very overstimulating to me. I don't know why at this time period. It was just like, it would frustrate me beyond belief. Like I would sit down to try to draw something and it just wouldn't come out how I wanted it to. And I also was dealing with the fact that I had very differing like art style wants or dreams. Like I wanted my art style to look like concept art styles, but then at the same time I didn't want it to look like that. So I didn't know what I actually wanted my art to be or what I wanted to do with it. So due to my confusion regarding what I actually wanted to do with my future, I decided to take a gap year. The plan was gap year, community college, private art school. That was the plan. The plan did not go that way. I ended up going to a public university. But I'm actually really happy with that choice. I could make a whole different video talking about why I decided not to go to a private art school, but I'm not going to just because that's going to be way too controversial of a topic and I don't want to get into it. Community college was rough, but I was making a lot more art and learning a lot of new skills, which I personally think was a great experience. And so far, my experience with public university has been great too, like taking my drawing classes and all of that. I've felt like I could actually really apply myself to these classes and learn stuff. But now I'm truly not thinking of pursuing a degree, which is kind of cray-cray, but I want to be a freelance artist and start a small business. I would never have made that decision if I still couldn't draw, but in this time period, I am happy to say that making pieces and generally just enjoying art and the art that I'm making has become so easy. And you know, it really began when I started making commissions, and I don't know why. I think the commissions really excelled my art like forward in a way that I wouldn't have had if I didn't start them. Commissions constantly make you take a step outside of your comfort zone, which a lot of artists I feel like have a little bit of fear doing, but if you do it, you'll see that your art just progresses in a way that it wouldn't if you were making personal pieces, because your personal pieces are things that you believe you can make. Now, I wouldn't say to start commissions if you truly don't think that you can follow through and actually make the art that the person is asking for. But for me, that step has really produced fantastic results, and I'm actually happy with the art that I make. And it's something that I really didn't think I would ever find again. But the happiness that I feel making art again is just, it's so beautiful. And that sounds so dramatic, but if you think about it from the perspective that art is the thing that has been driving me since I was younger, like literally since I was probably 5 years old, you'll see that this is not just a hobby or just a career choice. Like, this is my life. So if I have one word of advice from somebody who despised making art, I would say create work based on fan art, based on your OCs if you have them, and just keep making it, man. That's really like the advice that everybody gives, is like, just keep making art. Yeah, that is so true. Keep making art. That is probably the biggest thing I learned, is like, if you don't make art for an extended period of time, you cannot expect to see any results. Truly, you cannot expect that. And it is just going to be so much harder to jump right back into it because you won't be able to. Your skills won't match. So that is my biggest piece of advice. Just keep making art, even if it looks like trash. Please, 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 please. But thank you guys so much for listening to my yap sesh, low-key kind of a rant sesh, and just enjoy the rest of the art video. This is a commission from VGen, so if you're looking for some character art, you can find me over on VGen at Breeze Hollow Studio.